So today we are going to talk about interpretation and references. So normally we see uh, there are dollar references or dollar middle bracket references, PDL references, and DML resolution and cell script. So cell is was old actually. It's though we can use in current versions as well, but it is kind of we want to avoid because it's not native to not that native to ab initio. So mostly PDL has occupied the cell space, and then again the DML resolution is going to be more popular these days. So we are going to discuss the earliest, the beginning part like dollar and dollar middle bracket references and interpretation, right? So I have created one this page. So one by one we are going to see. So whenever we declare the or define the any parameters, right? With in any parameters like with respect to project.pset file, project level parameters, or it's a graph level or pset, and or any component level parameter. So if you look at the component level parameters, right? Some are inbuilt parameters, or some are, there are parameters and we have to take the values, and we need to specify the what kind of resolution or interpretation we are going to see. So whenever we declare, let's say we are declaring a parameter in pset, right? So we will have our graph level parameter, and then it becomes the pset, right? So graph level parameter, when we discuss, so there will be a name and value, right? So let's say I have declared one parameter db name data Pandit Oracle. Let's say this is an name and value combination of the any parameter, and then I am referring this parameter in another parameter. My db is another parameter, and I'm referring my db underscore name in some other place, right? Whether whether I am referring the next parameter, or somewhere else in the graph, or you know after this parameter. Okay. So the thing is, like, whenever declare this parameter in let's say project pset, or it's in a graph level parameter, then there will be attributes. If you look at the below, whenever we declare in the parameters f11 list, so per parameter list, so we will have attributes. There will be different type of attributes, type of, kind, interpretation. So interpretation is one kind of attribute, and the values of there will be multiple values for interpretation, like dollar, middle bracket, constant, PDL, or DML resolution. These five types of values you would see. Okay. Similarly, for all the parameters, you would see these kind of values. So if we, what needs to be taken care, while declaring. So whenever I declare the parameter, let's say I have declared the parameter data pandit role, and I am interpreting it as a dollar. So while referring what I should do, so if I do the dollar declaration here, the interpretation I specify as a dollar, then I can, in the while referring the parameter, I can use dollar, I can use the dollar middle bracket, I can use anything. But if I use the constant, then there won't be any, references. If I do dollar, then their values will be reflected. If dollar middle bracket, the values will be, referenced. The value will be replaced. Basically, MyDB will become the data Pandit Oracle. If I do constant, then there won't be any replacement actually. Only the dollar $db underscore name would be, resolving. Okay. If I do PDL, then also data Pandit role Oracle will come. DML resolution will be failing. Okay. In this case. So mostly we use the dollar or dollar middle bracket, or we do the PDL. So PDL is okay. So it works with the, these kind of declaration. Okay. And the problem, and also if I, let's say if I have DB name specified as a, we have talked about dollar, right? So DB name is declared as a dollar, but references I can do anything, dollar, dollar middle bracket, or PDL. Okay. to resolve correctly the values. But if I specify this db name as a dollar middle bracket, then how would I how would I correctly refer the value? So I can use the I can use dollar, I can use dollar middle bracket, okay, and I can use PDL. The values will be interpreted correctly, okay. So, but whenever, let's say I have declared a dollar as a dollar middle bracket, and I want to refer, you know, uh, I want to, while referring, I want to use the dollar, you know, middle bracket. But I use is while writing, I did not, use a dollar middle bracket over here. Then it won't be resolving. So let's say I have I have taken this as a dollar. Let's say dollar. I have used as a dollar in first parameter. Okay, but while referring, I am not using it. Okay, and here also I have used the uh, I have used the dollar. This one, let's say, but I'm not using over here. Okay, I'm using the just dollar db underscore name. Then it won't be resolving correctly. Okay. What I need to do is I need to specify the middle bracket over here as well while using it. Now it will be resolving the correct values. So if you interpreting the parameter using the dollar middle bracket, so this this assignment also should be corrected. You need to use this middle bracket. Otherwise, it won't be resolving. It will just replace. It won't be replacing, but just printing whatever it is here. So that we need to take care. If you are interpreting as a dollar middle bracket, you need to give the middle bracket over here as well. So this you need to take care. Otherwise, the PDL interpretation would work okay. Anything would work okay. So dollar and dollar middle bracket would work with PDL also. If you are declaring any parameter in with dollar or dollar middle bracket or PDL, you can interpret those values using the dollar middle bracket and PDL. Okay. So let's talk about the differences, in a PDL, dollar middle bracket or consales construct or, inline DML. So let's see some of the, so whenever so let's hook up to the notepad. So the PDLs, whenever we use the PDL, so PDL is most popular, it's called as a parameter definition language. So it is very native to the ab initio, and we recommend, or ab initio recommends to use the PDL instead of using any other parameter definitions, right? Particularly the cell. So we are going to avoid the cell. If we can replace cell with the PDL definition, then it is going to be well and good, right? Because in PDL we can you can reference that any parameters with the dollar or with the dollar or uh, with the dollar middle bracket. Also, you can use the cells construct. Also, you can define the any script within the bracket, small bracket, and then you can interpret using the PDL. So that also will work. Or if you can define the, any inline DML within the bigger bracket, okay, and the dollar. This construct you can use. You can define anything over here in this block, right? And you can call the functions. You can call an inbuilt function, or you can call the function which are defined in ABDML definition. Uh, DFS. So this is an inbuilt parameter. We can declare any XFR inside the XFR. We can declare. We can define multiple functions over here. Those functions can be called in dollar. Bigger bracket construct. That is called inline DML. So first of all, what we do is we create the parameters ABDML definition. This is going to be parameter, and dollar AI. mm, dollar AI. let's say XFR, and my XFR name is date function, date customized date function, custom. Let's say I have defined custom date functions. Okay, date function fns. Okay, dot XFR. So I have defined this XFR, and I have defined multiple date functions inside this XFR, and I declared this parameter abdml definition, and all the functions are residing in my this XFR. Then let's say I'm creating any parameter. Let's say I'm creating a parameter called PARA param test parameter. Okay, and I'm doing bigger bracket construct, and then I can use any function. Let's say let string or string x, and I can call, let's say, function, right? Date, so date, let's say date to string or something. Let me check. Let date to str. Let's say I defined this function, and I am passing the any date. Let's say let me check. I have passing the today's date set. Let's say now one or something. Okay, so that kind of things can be done actually. So now here you can interpret using the dollar bigger bracket. Within bracket you can define the this is called inline DML. Okay, so you can define any function, you can reference this function. This is date to str is defined in this XFR. So these kind of construct you can create using the PDL. So that is called dollar bigger bracket and called inline DMLs. So this is very popular actually. So you can call any number of ab initio functions and also the customized function like we have called here. So the syntax may not be working properly because I'm writing over here, but the concept is like you can reference and you can create the PDL, different PDLs, right? Now it comes to the DML resolution. So DML resolution is like you can define any. So this is also so whenever we have talked about the metaprogramming, right, in earlier couple of videos in my session series, ab initio tutorial session series, I have talked about metaprogram. Using metaprogramming function, we can create the or customize XFR, DML, etc., etc. So while using the metaprogramming function, instead of using the PDL reference or PDL interpretation, we can use the DML resolution DML resolution interpretation, and we can utilize this. So this is going to be popular among these interpretation nowadays. So therefore it is important to use this actually. So this is we have talked about briefly with respect to these PDL and DML resolution and cell script. So now let's hook up to the list I have used. Okay, so let's talk about the references and what are the escape rules. So the PDL comes with the escape sequence. There are some escape sequence and there quotation and all. So those kind of things we need to take care. Like so, for example, we have defined one parameter called parameter one, and the value of the parameter is value one, and I have a parameter called parameter two, and this I am referring this parameter one as a xyz backslash dollar parameter one. So what is going to happen is the escape is, so this backslash is going to be behave as an escape. So if so the dollar parameter one is not going to be resolved because we have an escape. So we have escape character before the dollar, so therefore it is not going to be resolving. So the output is going to be concatenated, or maybe the impact of the dollar reference is going to be nullified. Okay, so therefore this value, so this is the value of the after this. Okay, this one. Okay, similarly, like parameter one, if we defined value one, parameter two as a so if I use, so the the So the impact of dollar is going to be nullified, so therefore dollar is going to be coming. Okay, then there is an backslash and parameter one. Okay, so these everything would come, so the impact of the dollar is getting nullified. Okay, here, but this is string, right? So parameter PARM is not, so the backslash is not going to impact the PARM one, the name of the parameter is not going to impact, right? So therefore, so the dollar is not going to be working because the this impact is getting nullified. So it is going to be printing, right, dollar and all. So like here, okay. So the third is example is we are taking some examples so that we don't face into the problem, right? So we can understand it because backslash is going to be behave as an escape sequence, right? Escape character basically. So therefore, if you are going using the even numbers, right? So then uh, so so backslash is okay and backslash dollar, right? So then it is going to be backslash, and then so the if there is a backslash before the backslash, those two backslash continues, they are going to be nullified from each other. So therefore the dollar parameter when is going to be resolved. Okay, and one backslash is going to be as it is. Okay, so this is how it impacts actually. If it is a three times, then the it will impact actually. So if it are two times, then then the resolution will happen. Okay, if it is a one time, then the resolution is not going to happen. So you need to keep in mind that if the escape sequence comes in consecutive and it is in odd numbers, then the resolution is not going to happening. If it is an even number, then the resolution is going to be happen because it's those escape sequence will nullify each other, right? So this escape sequence will nullify this escape, and this escape number will come, and this the impact of this is not going to be impacted, not going to be happening, right? So similarly, like single quotes, so this also we need to take care, right? While specifying the single quote and double quote, if you specifying like single quote within after dollar, there is a single quote parameter one, so the single quote will come into the output as well. If it is in double quote also, then output will have a single quotes. Okay, while after resolution. So this value is after resolution, this extreme left value, right? So this is the after resolution. Or here also, like parameter one is value one and parameter two is, if I'm quoting everything within the double quotes, then there won't be any resolution, right? So as it is, it will come. So that you need to take care of. So the cell, let's talk about cell. We did not talk about much about cell, right? So let's talk about cell also because it's an older basically we are going to we because it's an there is an impact while dependency analysis. So we don't use cell interpretation. We mostly use the PDL or DML resolution. But let's we can understand the cell, right? So we whatever it is defined in in dollar small brackets, we can resolve it using the PDL. Okay, so you define your script. Let's say parameter one. Let's say parameter one I have declared, and my value is like everything you can define the any cell script, like we create a Unix script, right? So similarly we can define everything within this round bracket, and if it is getting executed as a Unix script and it will derive some values, then if you apply, if you define like this, then you can use the interpretation as a PDL, and the values will come. Okay, it will resolve properly. So this is all about these dollar references and interpretation and all. So this is okay. This is it. So we can talk more about on PDL and the DML resolution in second video. Okay, and I can take some few more example with respect to DML resolution and PDL, and we can understand it more actually. So the thing is, like, you practice more and you understand more. So this is going to be a fundamental aspect of it actually. So yeah, thank you so much. Please subscribe my channel, and we are going to see other concepts with respect to ab initio and other AWS and as well.